It's hard to tell a person's age just by looking at them, especially an animated person. With all the magic and such taking place in these films, you'd still be surprised what some of the actual ages of some of Disney and Pixar's characters are. We did the research and we present to you the most surprising ones we could find.
Beautiful young lady. Oh, look, you're here too.
Number 1. Okay, you know why no one wants to talk about Bruno? Because it'll reveal how old these siblings actually are. Bruno is 50 years old. Seems wrong, right? That man is so stressed out and still he looks no older than 35.
How long have you been back here?
Cover him in dirt and grime and still he looks late 30s, max. His voice actor is John Leguizamo, who is 61. But still, look at the character. Also, Peppa and Julieta look great for 50. Maybe some of the magical magic keeps everyone looking young?
The magic is strong!
By the way, Alma is 75 or 76 during the film. Her voice actor is Maria Cecilia Botero, who is 67. Number 2. There's no official source yet for Buzz Lightyear's age in his new film. But I think with confidence we can put him at anywhere between 24 to 40 years old. I think he's got a pretty youthful face though, so late 20s is most likely. He's voiced by Chris Evans, who is known as the Ageless Man, even though he's actually 40. Number 3. It's not super surprising that Ercole lied about being 16.
Señora, I'm 16.
You said that last year.
But this year is true.
What's surprising is that the whole town lets this punk walk around like he does even though he's 18. He's a legal adult. And he competes in physical competition with 13-year-olds. His voice actor is Severio Raimondo, who is 34 at the time. Number 4.
Besties, assemble!
Mei-Lin Mei Lee is 13 years old, played by Rosalie Chang, who was 15 at the time. Her monotone friend Priya, played by Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, was 19 at the time. Miriam is played by Ava Morse, who was 23 at the time, and Abby was played by Hind Park, who we can't find the age of. Any of you folks know? Let us know in the comments below. Number 5. This cute little robot is actually Pixar's oldest protagonist. At more than 700 years old, he's the most senior of Pixar's heroes. But doesn't he seem so childlike? It's almost more endearing that even after 700 years, he still has his childlike sense of wonder. His voice actor was Ben Burt, who was 62 at the time. Number 6. Bulda from Frozen might be over 700 years old, but she's still rockin' and rollin', talkin' and trollin'.
I've learned to just roll with it.
I don't know what the life expectancy of rock trolls is meant to be, but 700 years sounds impressive for any creature. Her voice actor was Maya Wilson, who was 38 at the time. A little younger than Bulda, for sure.
What's the issue, dear?
Number 7. Okay, so it's not technically that surprising that Flynn is between 22 or 26. I say between because the animators say he's 26, yet the film's director, Nathan Greno, says he's 22. Don't they have meetings about this kind of thing? His voice actor, Zachary Levi, was 30.
Oh no. No. This is bad. This is very, very bad.
Rapunzel's voice, Mandy Moore, was 26 at the time.
I know what I want for my birthday now.
Whereas the character was almost 18.
Mother, I'm turning 18.
Number 8.
A con, baby?
Okay, when she's standing still, it's not surprising that the baby from Raya and the Last Dragon is 2 years old. It's the acrobatics that are so confusing.
Does that include babies?
Children can maybe run at 2 years old, but not well. This kid is flipping around, running at high speed, and she has an understanding of complex sarcasm. I know this is a world with dragons and magic, but honestly, this is the most unbelievable thing in the movie for me. She was voiced by Talia Tran, who was 12 at the time. Number 9. So we know Carl is an older gentleman, not that crazy that he's 78. But how about Charles F. Muntz, the villain of Up? Carl was 9 when he went to the movies as a kid. The director, Brad Bird, confirmed Muntz is 92 by the end of the film. But they have a physical fight. How does Carl not just push this guy over and win? The voice actors for the two were Ed Asner, who was 78, and Christopher Plummer, who was also 78. Number 10. Grandma Tala is not at all your typical late 49-year-old grandma. Think about it. This woman is meant to be younger than Bruno. Do you believe that? She looks like she's at least in her 60s. 49 years is only a semi-canonical confirmation, but maybe the Heart of the Sea prematurely ages people? Her voice actor, Rachel House, is 50, but Rachel House actually looks 50. Grandma does not, in my opinion.
It's her! I found her! I found her! She's back!
Number 11. I know every Disney or Pixar protagonist likes to hit that 16-year-old mark. But Mirabelle just seems older, no? She's so responsible and mature. Like at least 18 years old responsible. She's voiced by Stephanie Beatriz, who was 39 when the film was made. But Mirabelle also has a sibling rivalry with her older sister Isabella, but she's 21.
That your life is so great.
Just seems like a pretty big age gap for this kind of a rivalry. Her voice actor, Diane Guerrero, was 33 at the time. Louisa is 19 years old, and her voice actor, Jessica Darrow, was 25. Dolores is 21 years old, and her voice actor is Adassa, who is 33. Camillo is 15 years old. His voice actor is Renzi Feliz, who is 22. And Antonio is 5 years old, whose voice actor, Ravi Kabu Conyers, was 9 years old at the time of filming. Number 13. I just think this one is very impressive. Look at everything Mulan did. And she's only 16. She saved China, she locked down a prince hunk, she beat up a scary big man, and she climbed that pole during one of the best songs in Disney history. She was voiced by Ming-Na Wen, who was 34 at the time Mulan was made. Number 14. Joe Gardner is a middle-aged man. I think we all knew as much. We just didn't know he was 46 years old middle-aged, you know? It was just how far into his middle age he was that was surprising, for me at least. I'm giving Pixar even more credit for taking a chance on following an older protagonist for once. Well, twice if you include Up. Okay, and Wally too. Jamie Foxx voiced Joe, who was 51 at the time. They should have just made Joe 50. That's a nice round number. Number 15. Of course, Hector's death was premature because he was poisoned by his so-called best friend, Ernesto. But doesn't he seem much older than 21 years old?
Muy guapo, eh?
He's a bit of a rascal, sure, but even his voice actor was 38 when he voiced the character. The actor's name is Gael Garcia Bernal, in case you want to fact check me. And you can totally fact check me on the pronunciation of that name. Number 16. We knew Cruella de Vil was older, but she's 65? She's moving around pretty fast for someone that age. I hate to say this about such a dreadful person, but she's in pretty great shape for 65. Her voice actor at the time was Betty Lou Gerson, who was 47, so again, probably sounded more youthful too. Number 17. Odie straight up says she's 197 years old.
Not bad for a 197-year-old blind lady.
And she may be making a joke, but I like to think it's true. Way past a normal life expectancy, and you can still dance like that. Good on you, Mama Odie. I hope I age as well as she has. She was voiced by Jennifer Lewis, who was 60 at the time. Number 18. Monsters, Inc. confirms Henry was at least 142 years old when the film takes place, as he inherited the company when he was 142. He was one of Pixar's early and great twist villains, back when twist villains were actually a twist, and surprising. All those years and still not the wisdom to leave kids alone.
I have no choice. Times have changed.
His voice actor was James Coburn, who was 71 at the time. Number 19. Now, it's not super surprising that Meg is meant to be 28 years old, as she seems like a person who has seen a lot of things and lived through some hard stuff. It is a little surprising when you learn that Hercules is meant to be 18, and then you start doing that Tangled, Flynn, and Rapunzel math, and then, yeah. Her voice actor was Susan Egan, who was 27 at the time. More evidence that Meg was no young Disney princess. I know the age gap is weird, but I still love Meg dearly.
All I know is you're the most amazing person I've ever met.
I've been looking all over for you.
Number 20. Jasmine from Aladdin is canonically 16 in the film. Consider that Jafar scene. You know the one.
I never realized how incredibly handsome you are.
Jafar is a middle-aged man, and she's 16, my guy. Please stop. Her voice actor, Linda Larkin, was 22 when the movie came out.
Please don't freak out.
Prepare to discover that some of your favorite Disney princes might be in a lot of trouble. That's right, we've got all the age gaps between our fave Disney couples. And suffice to say, things are about to get pretty weird around here. Number 1, we all love Rapunzel and Flynn Rider, the leading lady and leading man of Tangled, the Disney movie that's based, of course, on the fairy tale Rapunzel. Despite our love for the characters, when we found out the truth about their age gap, it's interesting. Almost as much as Snow White and her love. But back to Rapunzel. In fact, some fans online have mentioned how the age gap changed their view of Tangled. So you've been warned. While exactly how old the characters are isn't mentioned in the movie, the animators have been pretty upfront about it. Rapunzel is 18, which we think makes total sense.
I'm turning 18.
Flynn, however, is 26. Pretty weird there, Flynn.
Ouch.
Plus, Rapunzel is pretty young for her age, considering the whole grew up stuck in a castle thing. Number 2, Anna and Kristoff from Frozen are clearly meant to be, and these two have a totally normal age gap too. Anna is 18 at the start of the original Frozen film, and Kristoff is 21. And these two really do seem like those ages when you think about it. We love our unproblematic princess and prince.
I love it! I could kiss you.
Number 3, okay, we know what you're all thinking. What about Hans then? At least that's what we're thinking. Pretty much anyone who's seen Frozen loves Anna and Kristoff. And it's safe to say we all dislike Hans just as much. But if you're hoping that Hans was secretly 50 this whole time and we can have even more reason to have a problem with him and how he treated Anna, not so fast. Hans was actually 23, just 2 years older than Kristoff and 5 years older than Anna. So young and yet so evil.
The only frozen heart around here is yours.
Number 4, Ariel gave up her life underwater for Eric. But just how old was she when she made this life-changing choice? Well, fans might remember that Ariel actually told us how old she was.
I'm 16 years old.
As a 16-year-old, Ariel probably was a little on the young side to abandon her family, her home, and everything she knew for a man she'd never actually met. Eric, on the other hand, was actually 18 at the time. To be fair, we definitely thought he was way older, and they may have both been a tad on the young side to be getting married and transforming into different species.
It was you all the time.
Oh, Eric, I wanted to tell you.
Number 5. What about the princess and the frog themselves? Tiana and Naveen. Well, some people have to kiss a few frogs before they meet their prince, but not Tiana. These two turn out to be a perfect couple in pretty much every way. Not only do they transform into other species at the same pace, but they're actually only 2 years apart in age. In The Princess and the Frog, Tiana is 19 and Naveen is 21. Number 6. When it comes to Cinderella and Prince Charming, we have to admit, we're a little worried. It seems the older the movie is, the younger the princess is, and the larger the age gap. It turns out, though, that Prince Charming really lives up to his very charming name. Cinderella was thought to be 19 years old, and Prince Charming was 21. Number 7. Snow White and Prince Florian. These two are sweet and innocent, right? Not so fast, Snow White fans. You may want to cover your ears because this one's a rough one, and it just might ruin some of our childhood memories. Snow White was supposedly only 14 years old in the film, and our prince? Well, the prince was 31. Yeah, 31, over twice her age. Number 8. Hercules and Meg are another seemingly perfect couple who we've loved ever since we were kids. Hercules pursues Meg, and at first, she's reluctant. She's extra independent and disinterested in love. Eventually, though, she discovers that Herc is the perfect man for her. Did she realize, though, that Hercules was only 18? On the other hand, Meg herself was 28. Yep, 18 and 28. We don't know, Meg. Maybe you should rethink the whole thing.
I can't believe you're getting so worked up about some guy.
Number 9. If you're a Ratatouille fan, Chef Linguini and Colette's age difference just may surprise you. It's believed that Linguini is around 19 years old, but his lady friend is actually quite a bit older than he is. Colette is actually around 26 years old.
How did this happen?
because you...
Number 10. Mulan and Li Shang certainly had one of, if not the, most surprising all-around unlikely meet-cutes in Disney couple history. And that's saying something, since one couple actually met when one was a human and the other one was a frog. Since Mulan was masquerading as a totally different person who just so happened to be a man in the military, when she was a woman with no military experience, things started off on the wrong foot. In fact, this relationship was totally based off of lies, so did Li Shang have any idea how old Mulan was? We're guessing the answer to that is no, since Mulan was only 16 years old. Li Shang was actually 19 at the time.
Would you like to stay for dinner?
Would you like to stay forever?
Number 11. Tarzan and Jane overcame so much to fall in love. Their love had to transcend societal differences. And by societal differences, we mean Jane had to teach Tarzan that he actually wasn't a gorilla. But how old was Jane Porter really when she traveled with her father and consequently met Tarzan? It's believed that she was around 20. As for her beau, well, that's pretty hard to know, considering he was raised by gorillas, and we doubt they celebrate birthdays in the traditional sense. Plus, his vine-swinging, heavy lifestyle surely gained him some upper body strength that makes him look much older than his age. Still, he's thought to be around 18.
Tarzan. Jane.
Jane.
Number 12. Princess Aurora and Prince Philip of Sleeping Beauty are such a romantic couple, aren't they? They met and then ended up falling in love while one of them was fast asleep. Okay, it's actually less romantic and more bizarre and a little scary. Unfortunately, it gets even more bizarre and scary when we find out that Philip was 20 years old when this strange series of events occurred. As for Sleeping Beauty herself, Aurora, only 16.
Why? After all, I am 16.
More like sleeping high schooler. What are you ladies celebrating about? You're supposed to be looking after her. Number 13. Belle and the Beast. Their love story really is a tale as old as time. Does that little fact prove to be bad news for Beauty and the Beast themselves? Well, it's believed that Belle is actually only 17 years old. The Beast, on the other hand, is 21. Not only is he already of legal drinking age, but he's also, a dangerous beast. It turns out Belle probably should have steered clear. Oh, right, we forgot she was kidnapped and had no choice. Please tell us we're not the only ones now realizing how weird this movie was.
Are you happy here with me?
Yes.
Number 14. Aladdin and Princess Jasmine were probably both a bit younger than you thought when we were first introduced to them. Aladdin was 18 years old during the movie, but Jasmine was only 15 when she first ran into her future hubby at the market. This makes it pretty weird that her dad was attempting to marry her off, especially since Prince Ahmed looks like he's at least 40.
I choose you, Aladdin.
Number 15. What about Pocahontas and John Smith? These two were based on real people, but this story strays pretty far from the real-life saga. As for the characters in the movie, Pocahontas is 18 and John Smith is 20.
Oh, you look...
Old, bald, sad like a zoo gorilla?
The Madrigal family may not want you to talk about Bruno's surprising age, but that's not gonna stop us. We've got the Disney characters with the most shocking ages, and we want to warn you, they're gonna change your opinions on some of your faves. Number 1. How old do you think Woody is? 35? 40 at most? He's actually 51 in Toy Story 3.
What?
But it's a bit more complicated than that because, well, he's a toy. In 1995, Andy turned 6 years old. Woody is referred to as an old family toy and a hand-me-down cowboy doll. The Toys TV show Woody's Roundup was on from 1949 to 1957. So if he was originally purchased at that time, he's around 40 years old in Toy Story and around 51 in Toy Story 3. Still, Woody was, in theory, already an adult at birth. So is he frozen in time at 40? Physically, maybe, but can you be emotionally frozen in time at a certain age? Is this an Edward Cullen thing? This is not the first time Toy Story has given us an existential crisis, and it probably won't be the last. Number 2. Alice is probably younger than you thought when she visits Wonderland. While the Disney movie doesn't mention Alice's exact age, nor does the original Lewis Carroll story Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, it does seem that the Disney version is aligned with its source material. The sequel novel states that Alice is only 7.5. This means that Alice was only 7 years old in Alice in Wonderland, and we have to admit, that changes our view of this movie quite a bit. Number 3. The Beast from Beauty and the Beast's age is pretty confusing. The Beast, aka Prince Adam, needs to break his curse before his 21st birthday, a deadline that's fast approaching during the movie. So the Beast is presumably 20 years old. During Be Our Guest, Lumiere sings that the Beast has been cursed for 10 years. So why does this portrait of Prince Adam pre-curse look like this? Shouldn't this look like a 10-year-old? Surprisingly, though, this isn't the most confusing character age in Beauty and the Beast. That honor goes to number 4, beloved crockery Mrs. Potts and Chip. If the folks in the castle were turned into objects for 10 years, then why is Chip so young-looking when he turns back into a human? Did his human form not age while he was a teacup? Is he a teenager trapped in the body of a 5-year-old? Similarly, why does Mrs. Potts appear older than what we'd imagine a 5-year-old's mom to be? He calls her mama throughout the movie, so we know she's not his grandmother. So many questions. Number 5. What about the Madrigal family from Encanto? Mirabel is only 15 years old, though she does act very mature for her age. Luisa is 19 and Isabella is 21. As for Bruno, Julieta, and Pepa, these triplets are 50 years old. Number 6. It's clear that Cruella de Vil is no spring chicken, yet she does have a certain air of youth about her. In reality, Cruella is 65, and she's got plenty more years of being truly evil ahead of her. Number 7. How old is the Genie from Aladdin? 1,000,000 years old. He says, Al, you're not gonna find another girl like her in 1,000,000 years. Believe me, I know. I've looked. While we can hardly fathom what it would be like to celebrate our 100th birthday, 1,000,000 is way too far out of our grasp. We really respect Genie for knowing so much about modern pop culture at his old age. Number 8. Wally is a robot, so he has parts that will last far longer than us humans. At 700 years old, Wally is actually one of the oldest Disney characters, but we can't help but think he's a little too old for his young robot love interest Eva. Number 9. Peter Pan is the poster child of never growing up, but did he actually grow up? In the movie, Peter is 12 years old, but based on the books and what we know about Peter's age throughout, he should actually be about 40 to 50 in the movie. We're glad Disney made a change to this. Number 10. Mama Odie from The Princess and the Frog is clearly on the older side, but this lady is not one to lie about her age and pretend to be younger. She's actually the only character on our list to flat out tell us her age.
Not bad for a 197-year-old blind lady.
She proudly announces that she's way up there at 197 years old. As for someone who absolutely would lie about her age, number 11, we have youth-obsessed Mother Gothel from Tangled. Tangled seems to take place in the 1800s, but Mother Gothel's wardrobe looks to be a bit older. Mother Gothel is most likely between 350 to 450 years old, but for obvious reasons, she doesn't look a day over 40. This supports an interesting fan theory that she is related to the evil queen from Snow White, or that they could even be the same person. Number 12. Meg from Hercules breaks the trend of Disney princesses being disturbingly young. She's actually 28 years old. Her beau Herc, on the other hand, is only 18. Gives this dynamic a bit of a different vibe, doesn't it? Usually it's the Disney princesses who are on the young side, not the princes. Number 13. Like Mulan, for example. Did you know she's only 16? Most 16-year-olds we know are just trying to figure out geometry, and she managed to sneak into the military. Number 14. Snow White is also someone who should have been in high school instead of meeting her husband and going through a harrowing experience. Snow White is only 14 years old. Which character's age surprised you the most? Did it change your view of the movie? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you love this video, there's plenty more where that came from. Like and subscribe to The Things Animated for more.